Level 1. Commissary Runner. Before dawn, you step off the first bus beside fogged bus stop glass. You pull on old non-slip shoes with split rubber at the heel. At the bay entrance, you punch the metal time clock as trucks back into loading bays. Steam rolls across the 4 a.m. commissary as propane tanks clang through open bay doors. You chop through the onion mountain fast enough to stock a lunch truck. From the walk-in cooler, you haul the red sauce tub toward a waiting truck. Inside your wet backpack, you steady cheap food containers above the soaked floor. You grip the torn tortilla sleeve while the cook snaps over the wrong tortillas. You stack the leaning crate tower so the truck can turn without losing cargo. At the sink, you scrub the wire fryer basket until black grease breaks loose in flakes. Under the rusty wall hook, you hang your second-hand hoodie beneath a stained apron. You drag the blue trash bin past trucks with logos bigger than your room. With the silver duct tape roll, you seal leaking sauce lids before the truck moves. You hold the empty ice chest while the driver blocks the bay door. At the rain-beaded windshield, you face the canceled event and the filthy returning truck. You scrape mud from the muddy floor mat after the tipped crew leaves. Wet corners curling, you hold the clipboard as the owner calls cleanup normal hours. You throw the mop into the yellow bucket after one bitter laugh. At the order call speaker, you study the window cook handling angry customers. In the rideshare back seat, you brace the sweating ice bag across town. You read $2,600 per month personal pay from the thin pay envelope. Over a stack of paper food boats, you practice order numbers under your breath. At the rinse sink, you scrub stained fingernails with fryer oil still buried under them. You plant both palms on the dented steel sink toward the louder window. At the empty window station, you take the owner's point after the window cook calls out. At closing, you unlock the sliding service window from the customer side. Level 2. Window cook. You snap open the service window beside the flat-top ignition knob. Inside the truck, you tape the grease-spotted root note to the wall. You hang the clean black chef jacket above a stack of soda cans. You lay tortillas in rows before hospital workers reach the window. A sidewalk lunch line wraps around the block under heat shimmer, orders flying from the truck window. You steady the plastic side cup while the customer pounds the counter. With the square card reader, you tap payments between grill moves. You wipe your cheek against your shoulder beneath the heat lamp glare. Near the cracked earbud case, you hear the owner ask why service is slow. Beside the tip jar, you read $3,400 per month, personal pay from the folded pay envelope. You refill the green squeeze bottle before the construction site crowd hits. Over the marked street map, you compare the fast hospital stop with the late brewery stop. You grip the bent spatula as the lead cook shoves you aside. Behind the truck, you lock your used electric scooter with the chain. You call order numbers from the ticket rail until your voice cracks. Beside pre-folded foil wraps, you stack popular items before the rush. You point at the phone delivery code when the app driver tries to skip. Without leaving the grill, you point a gloved hand toward the line's end. Between rushes, you wipe fingerprints from the smudged counter edge. You time each order on the kitchen timer magnet. You stare into the sour sauce bucket after the spoiled batch lands on you. At the cooler thermometer, you face the owner's stare after the lead cook blames you. You show the stained prep log with your initials missing from the batch. At closing, you scrape burned bits from the grill trough. You circle the highest selling corner on the route map with red marker. Behind the loose baseboard, you hide the cash tip envelope in your room. With the truck key ring visible, you hear the owner warn you about routes. Above your bed, you start a glass cash jar beneath 3 profitable corners. Level 3. Pop-up card operator. Before sunrise, you slap magnetic logo signs onto the beat-up white cargo van. You load coolers through the dented van door until the cargo barely fits. Under the canopy, you clip a laminated menu board like a storefront sign. You angle the portable grill vent toward the main footpath. At the folding table, you pay cash for the vendor wristband. You move the orange traffic cone after the bigger truck owner complains. With a crossed-out menu strip, you cut the slow item from the board. You set LED light strips around the canopy before the brewery patio goes dark. A glowing canopy roof pulls the longest night line beside bigger wrapped trucks. You seal the used square reader inside a plastic sandwich bag. With the toothpick sample tray, you turn passing parents into buyers. From the napkin milk crate, you restock paper while orders keep coming. You hold the fundraiser badge as the organizer questions the missing truck. Overhead, you tape the orange extension cord above the parking lot. You mark taped table arrows for cash, pickup, and cooking flow. At 1 a.m., you rinse pans in the rented prep sink. Inside the van, you count rubber-banded cash stacks to $7,500 per month gross business revenue. You hold the brewery clipboard as the manager demands licensed commissary proof. You take the inspector's red tag beside the cold grill before prepaid service opens. Behind your apron, you clench the apron tie to keep both hands still. You tear refund receipts while prepaid customers crowd the cold grill. At the full cooler latch, you pack untouched food while bigger trucks keep selling. Under the LED canopy, you stand before the empty folding table after service dies. You call commissaries from the van with the taped phone charger in reach. You grip the rate sheet after the commissary owner quotes 2 weekends of cost. In the street, you shout once toward passing bus headlights. You circle printed truck listings with prices beyond reach. Through the crowd, you carry the melting ice block with locked arms. Under the passenger seat, you wedge the metal cash box before the ride home. You offer business cards after feeding 2 office managers from a week lunch. Steam from your grill cuts through neon crosswalk lights and car headlights. You hold the handwritten price sign after a nearby vendor accuses you. At the raised grill lid, you lift your chin toward the line. You count singles under the flickering dome light inside the van. Under the seat, you keep a blue permit folder with the photocopied agreement. You stack the color-coded crates so setup pieces unload first. Over the market stall map, you face the manager's threat about the bathrooms. You bolt the red extinguisher bracket onto the cart setup. Under the van visor, you sign the commissary contract beside the used truck photo. Level 4. Leased truck owner. You peel vinyl from the used food truck, dents showing under the old logo. Under the laundromat apartment, you carry a branded napkin box upstairs. On your tiny kitchen counter, you set 2 embroidered caps like uniforms. You bolt the POS mounting arm beside the serving window with shaking hands. At the commissary lot, you check the propane gauge by flashlight. On opening night, the glowing truck logo cuts through vent smoke as customers film. You point at the digital menu screen when a customer challenges the higher prices. In a narrow alley, you guide the truck by the side mirror scrape mark. You load labeled pans into the auction sticker prep fridge before dawn. Across the driver's door, you tape another line onto the repair list. You find the cut generator chain before the lunch booking. On oil-stained asphalt, you slam one fist into the empty generator spot. You face the corporate lunch banner as the organizer demands a solution. With the rental generator tag in hand, you charge the replacement to a nearly declining card. You tape foam around the microphone beside the rattling replacement generator. In the commissary lot, you twist an orange wire nut into the prep fridge circuit. The office plaza line snakes past generator safety cones during the rescued corporate lunch. You hold the yellow power cord as the night manager threatens a late fee. Near the parking violation slip, you hear the police officer ban overnight idling. You mount a steel generator lock where customers can see the theft scar. With a cracked speakerphone near your ear, you hear the accountant say $22,000 per month gross truck sales. You slide the stainless sauce rail closer to the grill. On the truck wall, you tape the weekly crew schedule for 2 people. You catch the abandoned order pad after the cashier quits mid-rush. At the brass service bell, you snap 1 ring before taking register and grill. You sleep beside stacked napkin cases with the truck key fob under your pillow. On butcher paper, you calculate menu prices beside supplier invoices. At dawn, you carry a wholesale spice jug through the supply aisle. You tape the laminated health permit beside the service window. At the curb, you chalk an arrow so the line bends away from traffic. You pay the supplier before the delivery hand truck unloads boxes. A packed sidewalk queue stretches past 2 neighboring trucks through a shouted weekend rush. Before sunset, you hang the sold-out placard for the 3rd time in 1 month. Across the wall calendar square, you write, "Second truck equals backup plus more windows." Level 5. Festival circuit closer. The brighter custom truck rolls through the festival gate arch under stage bass vibration. Inside the truck, you hang branded black crew uniforms on the garment rack. You check the printed prep sheet against trays of chopped toppings before doors open. Before the rush, you cover slow items with black menu tape. You press the vendor placement map as the coordinator argues about the speaker tower. Along the service road, you drive the used pickup for an emergency supply run. Beside the window, you stack bottled house sauce into a pyramid. You read the rain-soaked vendor fee invoice after the premium festival turns upside down. By the tire, you kick a puddle away from the truck. You grip the wet contract folder as the festival accountant refuses fee relief. On the color-coded event board, you mark paying events apart from bleeders. You read $45,000 per month gross truck sales from the stamped deposit slip after stronger bookings close. Through festival dust, you wipe the glowing digital menu screen edge. You arrange labeled catering trays in exact pickup order. At the executive lunch label, you absorb the administrator's complaint about 2 minutes. After closing, you lift sauce cases by the handle into the truck. From the mirror, you straighten the venue pass beside the brewery parking tag. On the event timing grid, you schedule prep by soundcheck, kickoff, and wedding toast. Outside the stadium, fans in jerseys surge around the truck before the gates open. You show the security wrist stamp when the guard blocks the supply runner. At the gate captain's radio, you point toward the starving line. You print the corporate catering email after the loss to refill cash flow. Beside the laminated upsell card, you coach the cashier's drink rhythm. You swap a full hotel pan into the line without closing the window. At the brewery barrel stack, you hear the owner demand a bigger cut. Wristband crowds flood the lane while nearby vendors wait behind half-empty counters. You park the newer truck beside the older pickup in a 2-vehicle space. A brewery crowd cheers under the swinging sold-out bell before sunset. Under the awning, you sit on a muddy folding chair with leftover food. Across the auction bid sheet, you circle the second used truck beside crew lead needed. Level 6, Fleet Operator. Before sunrise, you unlock the warehouse roll-up lock over 3 trucks. Bay doors rise as 3 truck headlights fill the unit with exhaust. Beneath numbered bay signs, you stand before 3 branded trucks nose to tail. You sort staff time cards as drivers wait beside the route board. At the gallon sauce pump, you portion sauce for matching flavor. You label tablets beside the radio charging dock by truck number. You move the magnetic truck marker after a shift lead challenges truck 2's route. By the bay doors, you load a route-labeled crate into the right truck. You stagger departures with the dispatch stopwatch in your palm. At the stadium parking placard, you face the driver refusing the brutal route. You pull the walk-in cooler handle beside pallets higher than your shoulders. Along the fleet line, you face the banker as the banker says, $115,000 per month gross business revenue. You check the cracked inventory tablet as crews shout from truck doors. Beside the emergency parts bin, you build a backup box for each truck. You cut broken pallet wrap after the supplier claims the order is complete. In the loading lane, you drag the floor scale beside every meat case. At the industrial park exit, the convoy splits toward different parts of the city. You count the sidewalk line at Truck 1 during lunch. Beside the Expo ticket rail, you move a slow crew member to Expo. At the private event lanyard, you answer the client demanding owner presence. You send the branded delivery van toward the truck selling faster than forecast. With grease on your sleeve, you sign the warehouse commissary lease page. Across the prep table, you lay out payroll envelopes between spice buckets. You raise the radio antenna to reroute Truck 3 toward a brewery rush. At the smeared dry erase arrow, you hear the dispatcher complain about route discipline. You lock each numbered cash pouch inside the drawer at night. After midnight, you match hotel pan lids to the right truck. You train a lead through the headset by naming each bottleneck. You find the secret cash envelope beside the stolen private event contact. At the open truck safe, you confront the trusted truck lead. You toss the rival event printout onto the prep table. Beside the charging dock, you leave the fired manager's radio unclaimed. You write tomorrow's busiest route into the blank route slot. On a 3-column control sheet, you split cash, route, and food checks. You bolt a lockbox into every truck before service. Bay doors rise again with new leads standing in each fleet doorway. Beside the route board, you pin a city map with strings to every active stop. You fasten the dangling luggage tag onto your scouting backpack. At the route wall, you press red city pins beside the traveling operations manager's new keys. Level 7, Regional Route Boss. A Dawn airport shuttle passes your apartment as you wheel a suitcase toward launch. Behind the black SUV, you reveal cooler racks, repair kits, and branded road cases. You grip the rental car key tag on the way to the brewery lot. At the campus brick arch, you shift the truck 20 yards toward the dorm path. In a hotel closet, you hang regional crew jackets instead of normal clothes. You touch the brewery tap handle as the owner pushes market exclusivity. By noon, you clip the stamped kitchen visitor pass inside the warehouse kitchen. A 3-city route wall shows stadium, breweries, wedding, campus, and corporate lot under one logo. You judge line speed by ticket pile height beside the operations manager. At the corporate access badge, you promise proof for serving 800 people. You raise the smoking truck hood on the interstate shoulder before the prepaid event. Beside the open roadside road case, you start rerouting in shirt sleeves. You hold the client speakerphone as the corporate client threatens refunds. On the split menu checklist, you divide hot items from cold trays. A replacement truck reaches the corporate plaza fountain as office workers cheer. You watch the tow truck hook carry the broken logo past you. In your palm, you turn the new office key beside a bare map wall. You pin weekly routes across the wall from the push-pin box. Near the factory shift whistle, you chart the city's strongest sales spike. At the grease disposal barrel, you face the landlord's rule dispute. You sign the repair kit invoice box for the next city. Inside the commissary shell, you measure the unfinished freezer frame with your steps. You point to the consultant hairnet as the consultant says prep rooms are scattered. Inside the unfinished commissary, you hold the echoing warehouse phone as the closeout caller confirms $330,000 per month gross business revenue. In the parking lot, you press the phone to your ear for the ops test. A crowded college quad surrounds banners, jackets, and truck wraps carrying the logo. You steer past office parks by lunch and breweries after dark with a toll sticker on the windshield. On the laminated contingency card, you design a repair swap plan. You pack mobile repair kits into road cases labeled by truck number. At the city route clipboard, you move the local manager's favorite truck. Outside the stadium, tailgate smoke and marching band drums merge around the truck line. At midnight, you walk the hotel hallway with sauce stains on your cuff. You file prepaid event binders over week lunch route sheets. You study the scattered prep room map under the consultant's warning. A drone city grid shows 6 branded trucks serving different districts in one weekend. Beside branded caps, you leave the missed video call screen glowing on your phone. You mark the dashboard mileage log between a wedding venue and brewery service. Across the interstate, you transfer backup inventory through a cooler crate. At the brewery, you face investor cufflinks asking why you still operate alone. Under the route wall glass, you paint Central Production across the warehouse blueprint. Level 8. Commissary King. You step through the loading dock beneath branded bay numbers beyond the frame. At dawn, forklifts move pallets as trucks and catering vans load in parallel lanes. Behind the glass training wall, you stand with new crew leaders over the signature item. You roll sauce bottles along the labeling table by the hundreds. With a stainless tasting spoon, you check sauce viscosity across both commissaries. You examine the bulk supplier sample box as the supplier argues case sizes. Above the dashboard passes, you clip the family photo to the visor. In the painted forklift lane, you walk past supervisors calling truck numbers. You read the dinner reminder text as a close person asks about home. Numbered bay doors open one after another as trucks roll into morning traffic. During the buyer tour, you hold the finance director's tablet as the finance director says $850,000 per month gross business revenue. At the airport buyer badge, you answer whether a truck brand can hold a permanent counter. You stand beneath the food hall neon sign over the fixed counter. Beside the airport delivery cart, you trim the menu for security delivery windows. You place the condo keycard beside freezer gloves on the passenger seat. You face the freezer alarm light over a ruined major prep run. Outside in the loading yard, you press your forehead to the cold truck door. You stare at the unanswered home call screen after the company emergency takes you again. On the emergency prep grid, you split overnight prep between both commissaries. Under portable work lights, you relabel rescued inventory after midnight. Sunrise catches trucks leaving the loading dock on schedule. You walk past the pickup fleet row outside the commissary. Beside the catering van ramp, you inspect racks of boxed office lunches. You turn the emergency playbook draft into written steps for a stranger. You tap the thick training binder as the training chef argues about street feel. With twin sample cups, you mark which batch serves each city. You sweep sauce bottle caps into the cap sorting tray. At the numbered prep rack, you time a new hire's truckload. You hold the crushed delivery box as a truck lead challenges the central kitchen. In the truck doorway, you make the warehouse supervisor watch a live rush. The glass training kitchen runs a mock rush under 20 trainee voices. Beside the freezer door handle, you approve supplier contracts. In the tasting room, you host airport and corporate buyers at the table. You set the prototype barcode bottle under the heat lamp. On a batch formula card, you scale truck recipes without dulling flavor. You reject the bottle mold in front of the packaging vendor. Between commissary buildings, you steer the commissary golf cart on launch morning. You sort the 3-color decision board into trainable, automatable, and founder-only fixes. A drone shadow crosses asphalt as trucks, catering vans, and pickups leave in 3 directions. You pass the prototype truck model built for future operators. At the consultant checklist, you hear the franchise consultant demand written emergency answers. In the glass manual case, you lock the operations manual under Who Gets the Name? Level 9. Franchise Builder. You enter headquarters beneath a wall-sized route map of markets beyond your driving. At the Franchise Expo, a full prototype truck gleams under hanging lights. You clasp hands beside candidate name badges as booth lines build. On the interview stool, you ask franchise candidates about failed rushes. You hold the territory map sheet as the wealthy investor asks for 3 markets. Inside your jacket pocket, you tuck boarding passes between city launches. Beside the black car door handle, you pose under the logo with franchisees. You walk the factory line past unfinished truck shells. With a measuring tape strip, you reject the factory layout at the expo rail. 5 spotlighted trucks unveil in a convention center convoy filmed by drones. You pause at the attorney redline pen before every stage promise. In the training academy hallway, you study the uniform display case. You coach franchise owners at the training window mock-up. At the audio rush recording, you teach owners to hear kitchen drag. You lift the portion scoop set as a franchise candidate argues local survival. Inside the founder media studio, you face the camera rig beside sauces and truck models. You read teleprompter glass as crews set training stations behind you. You compare viral plate photos after a franchisee cuts portions and raises prices. On a comment-filled phone screen, you confront the rogue franchisee over margins. You push the smaller plate back beside the mismatched plate pair. You send the field trainer's suitcase toward the broken market. In the summit room, you hear the franchise broker announce $3 million per month system-wide gross sales through a lapel mic. You eat standing over a carry-on suitcase handle in the airport lounge. Beside the sample bun tray, you hear the franchisee request cheaper local buns. You test the cheaper bun under heat lamps until collapse. Launch week flag lines fill blocks with ribbon stands and wrapped trucks. You scan legal team badges across the franchise summit front row. You pack audit kit boxes with scales, scoops, and photo cards. At the summit floor microphone, you face owners protesting tighter controls. You grade the mystery shop plate on the digital food scale. At the slammed conference door, you hold your ground after ordering retraining. In the hotel hallway, you lower your voice on the carpet. You tour 3 build tiers across the showroom floor reflection. You stack launch plaques in wooden crates for unfamiliar cities. With the local crew clipboard, you tour weak markets instead of trusting reports. Synchronized video walls show launch convoys rolling through multiple downtowns. Under the empty plaza umbrella, you challenge the operator blaming the city. You reposition the truck to the hospital loading curb in one afternoon. Across the hotel boardroom table, you arrange leather territory agreement folders. Academy live feed walls show franchise crews plating one item across cities. You walk polished showroom floors as new operators tour build options. Across the revised manual, you stamp National Consistency before the factory floor. Level 10. National Food Truck Empire. Before sunrise, floodlights reveal rows of branded trucks across the private fleet yard. You pull on the custom founder jacket among flashing national staff badges. With the driver inspection clipboard, you walk the first row of launch checks. Near the command center entrance, you pass the matte SUV grille beside louder machines. You read loader hand signals instead of readiness reports. Forklifts feed pallet lanes as national sales screens wake across cities. At the finance lead headset, you hear $10,800,000 per month system-wide gross sales with a warning on supply costs. You open the sealed supplier sample after rejecting a changed signature taste. In the headquarters test kitchen, you face the tasting tray of regional batches. You lift the sample sauce spoon before the lab numbers print. Beside the studio boom mic, you monitor launch content through glass. 30 future units sit under the manufacturing bay crane in different build stages. At the audit wall pins, you face the Franchise Council's demand for local freedom. From the waterfront balcony rail, you take one call before sunrise ends. You open the fresh painted bay door for a flagship commissary in a new region. At the digital dock timer, you measure the first regional loadout in seconds. Travelers line beneath your logo under flickering airport flight boards. You read the airport operations tablet as the manager demands holiday delay proof. At the sample case latch, you carry sauce bottles through metal detectors with national staff badges. Under huge regional market banners, you cross the headquarters training arena between seated franchise owners. You approve the factory purchase packet for the next 30 truck manufacturing order. You point to the adjustable storage rack for the engineers. At the launch calendar wall, you face the regional director's training warning. You open the recall notice packet threatening every city overnight. You tear the torn recall page free for procurement before anyone sits. At the crowded command table, you cut through substitute batch arguments. You set blind tasting cups for emergency supplier swaps before dawn. Under floodlights, you relabel new ingredient pallets by region. Nearly 100 engines start one after another as drivers form across the yard. From the balcony, you watch rows of branded trucks roll out by region, while forklifts keep loading at sunrise.